Are you looking for a podcast where you can hear from real people regarding their real dental drama? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join hosts Bethany Petty and Dr. Rena Kuba as we dive into the solutions we've created and the mistakes we've made while managing dental drama. Let's get started.
Ladies and gents, top of the morning to ya.
Howdy, howdy. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And I'm talking to you listeners, because obviously it's just Bethany, you lady in here. There's no gent in here. I was talking to y'all. Sorry, I should clarify that.
We don't store a little man in our recording space just to listen to us talk.
We do need one.
We do.
Anybody? Any listeners want to come?
Any volunteers to creepily hang out in the corner while we record?
Pipe in as you see fit, like
so that we can say ladies and gent.
There you go. Yes, yes. Okay, so can I start this?
Oh, yes.
First of all, I wanted to remind everybody of two things. Number one, if you haven't subscribed yet, don't be a dummy, because the prices go up in January.
Yes.
So lock your rate in now.
Yes.
And which I am so pleased, and I know y'all will probably hate me for, and that's fine, but I'm the one who's talked you into the price increase. Yes. So I'm glad you listened to me.
I listened to your advice. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Isn't that great how it works? You advise me, I listen. I advise you, you listen.
There you go.
Just win-win.
Win-win. Brilliance. Brilliance just propelling us forward. And so all the hate mail you can direct to me. For that price increase. But what you're getting for said subscription, like the December digest I printed, loved your article as usual. And then you had a lot of great playbook tips, which is our like what to do, how to make this happen, recipe guide, if you will. And I already took screenshots of the ones that I want my team to work on, that I'm like, okay, here's some good. So
even leading to, you had like the Sweet Sally solutions in our.
So that's what I was about to say. So that, if you're okay with, I want to talk about, for today's topic, I was thinking of like a top 3 or top 4 tips for year end. Mm-hmm. Like, what are the things we need to do? Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, holy coal, Santa's coming to town, which means it's the end of the year, and what all am I ready for wrapping up this year? Like, what all was I supposed to be doing again? And I know, like, for home, it's like this, my side of the family, we need to do this. Your side of the husband's side of the family, we need to do this. Oh, office, crap, we need to do this. So what do I need to do as a business owner to wrap up things for December? I was hoping we could talk about that in this episode, so you can kind of remind me of things I'm forgetting to do. One of the things I was forgetting to do happened to be one of your suggestions in the digest.
Yeah.
So I took a picture of that and I sent an email. You haven't seen it yet, but I copied you on the email. And then I sent it to my AR team. And so I'm going to go ahead and launch with my first tip.
Okay.
Are you okay if we do this?
I am totally good with this.
So my first tip is fee increases. And I've just got my head in the clouds. Sometimes I start thinking about this back in like September. It has zero been on the radar until I read the December digest and I saw that in there and I was like, we haven't, and it's already like almost, we're December is well into the month, and we don't have much time for this now, but we want it to hit in January when we kind of reset our fee tables and stuff like that. So we better get on this.
Yeah.
So that would be, it's kind of that dual tip of, one, don't forget to go subscribe so you're not missing these pearls and nuggets. And may I say, and I think I've said this before, I am a Bethany client. Y'all see how much time I spend with Bethany. And yet, like, it's not like we sit there and go, don't forget to increase your fees, Kuba. Like, we've got other problems we've been tackling.
Yes.
And so if I wasn't getting the digest myself as a subscriber, I wouldn't have caught that tip.
Right.
So I'm so grateful I did. So now I've got that ball set in motion, and I've got a deadline for my AR team to make their recommendations of what we're increasing. If you've never done a fee increase, you need the subscription more than you know. But for those of us that do them, and if you've forgotten, get that taken care of.
Yes, that's such a great tip to bring to the surface here. I know obviously we put it in the digest, but I can't tell you how many times I'll step into work with a practice and they have
forgotten. It just slips our minds. They've forgotten to really evaluate fees for years. For years. And guys, like, this is such a great tip. I'm just so glad you brought it up, because we're shooting ourselves in the foot if we don't think about this. There's a process to it for sure. It's not an easy task, but absolutely it should be something that should be reevaluated on an annual basis.
Yep. And I think, we feel bad. We feel bad about it. We're like, people already think of us as greedy, shady society, of dentists. That's what you guys are. But we're business owners, and find me a business that is not evaluating their fees, and find me a business that is decreasing their fees.
Yeah.
Right? When was the last time American Airlines dropped their fees on a flight, right? So as business owners, we need to take care of our business, and that is a super important aspect that we can't overlook. We
100%. Yes.
Are you okay with, how do you want to do this? You want
Why
to
don't
bounce
you
back
do
and forth?
your 3?
You want me to just do all of mine?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing then, as I was trying to think about fees and trying to wrap my brain around what else do I need to do at the end of this year, we do dental benefits for our team members. So when I say that, it's just me going, hey, I'm going to do whatever our number is, $1,500 of free dental work for you. And that's my dental benefits for the team.
Yeah.
Which actually comes in handy too when you're doing your compensation reviews, which I know we'll start talking about here soon, but we always talk about it every year. But that's like, if you got paid $10 an hour, but you also got $1,500 worth of dental work from me this year because you brought your kids in, you brought your husband in, you got your own teeth cleaned, or we did fillings on your kid, whatever it was. And I did $1,500 of that and didn't charge you as an employee. But then we show that on our compensation review. Is like, don't forget you got this benefit from me as well, because if you weren't here, you would have gone and paid $1,500 somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, so what that means for me is that now we're hitting towards the end of the year where if I allow 1,500 or 1,000 or 1,800, whatever it is, the amount that I give my team, I need to make sure I go back and like readjust their ledgers so that when we start in January, because I do it like from January to December, and make sure we're starting off at zero balances for them.
Right.
For their dental benefits. So I need to, and the chart that we calculate that on as well, like preparing all of that for you when you come help me do my fee, or my compensation reviews. I need to have those numbers ready for you as well. Like if Jamie used all 1,500, but Sally only used 400, I need to be able to put those numbers on our thing. So I need to work that out. So that's my tip number 2.
I love that.
My tip number 3 is, in our office, I pay out PTO. So any unused PTO I pay out at the end of the year. It does not roll over. And I always get anxious towards the holiday time because we do the paid vacations. So we do Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Mm-hmm. And so that can add up. Then you count in PTO pay that was unused. And typically around this time of year, we are bonusing because we've just had Thanksgiving, which is busy in a pedo office, and we've just had Christmas break. So just watching cash flow.
Christmas gifts that you might do, Christmas party. Like, it's an expensive month for business owners.
Yes. And the other thing I always forget is, if I'm not mistaken, November, December, sometime it's where you're getting 3 pay periods in that month instead of just the 2.
Yeah. Usually somewhere between October and November is when that happens. You're exactly right. It's pretty freshly happened. So you're already low.
Yeah. Your reserves are low. And then here we go into the most expensive time of the year. So I think for me, then I have been burned before forgetting to pay out PTO and then getting slammed with that too. So I actually just messaged my team last week and I said, hey, I'm looking at who has unpaid, who has days, hours left. Then I had to contact my accountant because I track it, but my tracker, I'm not good at tracking it. And so I just kind of said, hey, can you be my second set of eyeballs? Who has gotten PTO paid already? How many days? And there were 2 that I had wrong. Like I had one that she had used 3 PTO days, and he's like, payroll is showing she's only been paid 2 days of PTO. So I actually owe her a day. And then anyway, I was able to check those numbers against what our system has showed that we have paid.
Yeah.
And then calculate what is left to pay. There's one that she hasn't used any of her 8 PTO days this year, that is expensive.
Yeah.
That's like paying her 2 weeks worth of pay plus her regular pay plus Christmas plus, right? So I told her, I was like, I'm going to pay 4 of your days on this pay period. I'm going to pay 4 of your days on the next pay period. And she was fine with that. But anybody else that I can pay and just get that cost taken care of now while we still have money to pay before like all these other accounts receivable things come in. So just making sure that you're watching cash flow, I guess, is the point of that.
But also, we don't often think cash flow with, if you do have a policy where you pay out PTO, we don't normally remember to correlate that in there. So I think that's a smart tip.
I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who does that, right? Like, I don't know what people's
I would
things
say
are,
it's 50-50. I mean, some people will allow it to roll over into the next year, but probably about 50% are like, no, I'm just going to pay that out.
And some of y'all maybe don't do PTO. Some of you maybe don't do paid vacation days. So I know that is not universal across the board, but I think most offices are doing something or another.
Yes.
And the point is, watch your cash flow.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I know that was 3 already, but then this kind of ties in with cash flow as well. Just another random. So I guess I've got 4 here.
Ooh, I have 4 too. So
okay, good. I think I know what your 4th one is because we kind of talked about it together. So yes, good. I didn't realize that was number 4. But my 4th is if you have anything like uniforms that you look at fresh for the new year or things like that. And also I kind of tie in uniforms with our wish list items. Mm-hmm. At this point, it might be too late to go, hey, our wish list, hey, accountant, should I buy this before year end? I think a lot of us are pretty good with that. I'm not. So I've had to remind myself to go, hey, buddy, do I need to buy something else this year? But I already know what I want for next year. And so I'm like, hey, heads up, I want 2 new of these units.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be turning to you to go, when can I afford to do that?
Yeah.
And so I've already put it on his radar, but whatever you do with your wish list items, if you haven't already thought about that and looked at it from a tax perspective, make sure to do that.
Yeah.
We don't have much time left.
But. Yeah. That's such a good one. And again, I love that this is early December. There are still, I know for tax purposes, sometimes if we've got an overage and we need to right the ship, so to speak, I think it's important. Today's the day. If you haven't created your wish list, think about it today, because if there is something that you need to purchase before the year end, you still have a little bit of time. But then if you're not in that situation where you need to purchase some things, then definitely creating the list for next year.
Well, and that too, then just helping your accountant out to go, these are where I see our, even things like my compressor is 10 years old. So we need to make sure we have reserves for that for next year. We're wanting to buy this new blah, blah next year. We actually need a new sensor next year, and just kind of teeing them up. I know this year it could be something about, isn't it something like for a lot of things, like you've got to have it in your building before December 31st, and it may not, whatever time we have left. If you have not thought about it, think about it today. Yeah. And reach out to your reps, reach out to your accountant. Yeah. To see if this would apply to you.
Yeah. And it may not even be major things. It could be, hey, I need a couple new hygiene kits because that's been on our radar for a while. And no, that's not a massive spend, but if it does help you with, from a tax standpoint, with some extra costs before the end of the year, then that's certainly a worthwhile thing to consider. Those are good.
Okay, thank you. Those are my 4 tips for year end. But I'm looking forward to yours because that's what I came up with on my own. But when I started thinking about this, I was like, good God, what else have I forgotten? Yeah. What else have I forgotten? Like fee increase, dummy. Like that should always be, it always has been on my radar. Like, again, starting October-ish, and it just has not.
But once we get towards the end of the year, there's such a flurry of, our minds are just distracted with a lot of things. And so it can be easy for stuff to fall off.
So tell me what else I've fallen off. I want to see your list.
So one of the things I put as my top 4 tips is calendar prep for 2026. In this case, I can't tell you how often we just kind of keep putting this off. Like, oh, I don't have time to sit down and plan out my calendar. Or I don't know when I'm taking vacation. I've really got to decide on that. But I would just challenge you, don't let the holiday season pass without sitting down and at least, at the bare minimum, getting the first 6 months planned. My preference would be that we get all of 2026 planned, because in dentistry, most specialties function in that 6-month cycle. So anything that you're putting on the schedule right now for March is really too late, quite honestly. So that can be vacations. I like to go ahead and get all the team meetings on the schedule. If you do annual compensation reviews, go ahead and put that on the schedule. If you do, quarterly performance reviews, put those on the schedule.
The emergency trainings. If your state board requires that or whatever it is, but put your emergency trainings on there.
Yes. CPR, if y'all do that together as a group and you're due for that. Your OSHA HIPAA training, get that on the books.
And I would say, even when you said, like, try to plan through the end of the year, and my thought was like, oh, honey, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend, or like, come on now. Who knows that this far in advance? But I think even what I tend to do is I will make an event in March.
Yes.
And so what I'm doing now for calendar prep is leaving myself an event in March to go, okay, now start thinking about September. Mm-hmm. Can I do that in March? Sometimes I can. Sometimes I can't. If I can't, then in March, I will make an event for May already to go, okay, come back and think about this then. Yeah. So you're leaving yourself breadcrumbs throughout the year so you don't have things falling off.
Yes. Or an alternative to that would be, if you're like, hey, there's a lot of administrative things, then block yourself off from work. And I know this sounds crazy, but if you can wrap up a little bit early on a Friday afternoon and give yourself 2 or 3 hours of admin time, and then in that admin time, you have a checklist that you're going off of. Coordinate with CPA on this, vacation schedule, team meeting schedule, whatever. You create a list of all of your admin for those few hours, and then you're literally just checking it off. But then that admin afternoon is clearly marked on the calendar because there's no patient care. It's blocked off for doctor admin time. So that can be a really good.
And we all know, we all have times, like in Texas, STAR testing week is always slow across the board. Yeah. So I know I will have time in April. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what I'm going to save to do my emergency trainings.
Yeah.
And the last several years, we have been so much better about going, okay, I know I don't want to send all my staff home. So let's wait to clean the baseboards until April.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do it in April, and then it'll get really slow again in mid-August after school starts back. So we'll clean baseboards again, and then it'll be real slow again in November after Thanksgiving break. We'll clean them again then.
Right.
So, like, putting those blocks on the schedule, anything you can think of that you went this year and went like, damn it, I didn't give myself enough time for that.
Yes.
We do our marketing calendar. We do that. We have a meeting in September to mark all the marketing events we want.
Yep.
The next year. We've done that the last couple of years, and it's made it so much easier. Not that we don't pivot from that, but at least we've got some sort of a framework. And so, for example, if in June we want to go hit the school nurses, well, in our calendars, I'm putting plan that in April. April's going to be slow. Order all the stuff you need for the nurses. For our February, like for peds, we do for daycares and stuff. We go and we do our National Children's Dental Health Month. We're not planning that in January. We don't have time to get all the toothbrushes in, get all the bags made, do all of that in January for February. So if you wanted us to do a presentation for you, we really should have booked that back in October.
Yeah.
And so this year we did. We had somebody calling schools in October going, hey, are you going to want this in February?
Yeah.
You'll still have a straggler or two who may call you, or you may reach out to if you have extra things you ordered or whatever. Or you met somebody at the, your chamber mixer in January, and they're like, oh, I happen to be the administrator for events for this school, right? Like, you can always pivot, but it's not easy to do that when you've got like 10 schools you're trying to hit. And now you need 3,000 brushes, not 300 brushes, right? So anything you want to do this is the time to sit and think about that.
Yes. And the more thought you can put into it, the better prepared you're going to be. And like you said, if it's too overwhelming, make yourself an event and come back to it. But don't just let it fall off into the atmosphere. It won't come back. It'll come back when you have no chance to do anything about it.
And then it's chaos and stress and maybe not the product you wanted.
Yeah. Even going through putting employee specific things like employee work anniversaries or employee birthdays on the calendar, or things like that. Putting your spouse's birthday on the calendar. If you're going to be inclined to forget it, figure out how to put that on your calendar so that you can keep track of all of that. So that's my number one is calendar prep.
The other thing, if I can add,
Yes.
if you have associates and you renew the contract yearly, giving yourself, like, Mark, if I know that Dr. Smith his contract ends in March, maybe in January, I'm meeting with you to go, hey, we need to get him to sign this new contract because it expires in March.
Yep.
Do we need to make any changes? What are we doing with this contract? Are we still comfortable with this is the contract we want? Yeah. So that way we can get it to him by February. So he's got a month to look at it so that he can be signed by March.
Yeah, that's a great reminder as well. Just, again, create those events for yourself so that you can remember what you need to do to prep. Because not everything has to be prepped today, December. You can at least put it on the calendar and then create opportunities to prep for those as you get closer to them. Yeah, that's a really good one. I think this kind of ties in with it, but I view it as something different, which is, I'm going to call it projections. And I know every dentist is like, oh, that sounds like such business language, projections for 2026. But I really think that this is super important for us to think about what are some of the potential needs that we'll have next year? What are some of the potential problems? What are some of the opportunities? Like, if we know that Sally is having a baby in March and she's going to be out for 3 months, what are we doing to problem solve that now? It's December. I know we're months ahead of that, but that's a projection. We're going to be light staffed. Are we outsourcing during that month? Have we trained Susie up to cross train for her? But then that's going to be too much on Susie's plate. What clinical assistant are we pulling up to help with that? What's our strategy? So we're projecting a potential problem and we're going ahead and starting to think about solutions. There could be opportunities like, there's a pediatric dentist that's opening up down the street. It looks like their website says they're going to be opened in February. Great. I need to block some time on my calendar to go and meet with that person, get to know them. That's an opportunity for us to lighten our schedule a little bit by referring some of our tough pediatric patients over there. So that's a great opportunity. It could be, hey, marketing wise, we've got a new neighborhood down the street that is we see the houses are looking like they're starting to be finished. Let's think about marketing to them because we need to increase our new patients. We could project problems like, you just went through this. I've had multiple clients hit their Pano expiration date. Expiration meaning the machine decided it was expiring this year. And they're like, oh gosh, I've got this huge $30,000 bill now that I wasn't expecting. Sit down and think about all of your big equipment. Is there anything that could be on the fritz? Even if it's acted perfectly fine from an age standpoint, if it is nearing that 10-year mark, or let's say you've got a server that's older, go ahead and project what if this server goes down, or what if this Pano goes down. So I would say just sitting and thinking about possibilities that could occur or are guaranteed to occur. Like Sally having her baby, that's a guarantee. She's going to be out for maternity leave. Some things though are just, we're hypothetically thinking about things that could happen.
Can I throw in a teaser here?
Yeah.
So you saying that, I'm like, where does that sound familiar? That's been in my brain recently. And I think I used that example in my January Digest article.
Yes.
And I won't, should I go ahead and tell y'all what it is or not? Anyway, point is, that's one of the things that I was talking about in there was go ahead and what does Bethany help me with?
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I was like being strategic with things. And I don't think I used the word you just used. Projections.
Too businessy.
I used some super layman term. I don't remember what it was, but
layman works.
Well, sometimes that's all this brain can process. But I think the concept is, and I was excited about my January article.
Your articles are always so good and practical. Like
they're practical. They're not
practical.
Polished whatsoever. It's like I write how I speak.
Yeah.
But I think and hope Do you want me to just tell you what the article is?
Yeah.
Just
Why
tee it
don't
up
you,
so
yeah.
that y'all know.
Don't
So that
give
way
it
if
all
you're not
away,
a-
though.
No, I won't even remember what all there is to give away. But maybe teeing it up for anybody who's not a subscriber. Like, this is what I had just been hit quite a bit this last month with people going, so what all does Bethany do for you? Or what all am I supposed to expect out of a consultant? And what all am I paying for? And whatever. And I was like, how do I even describe what all you help me with? My thought was, I'm not going to describe what you help me with. I'm going to actually give you examples of what you help me with. And then that way, if another owner is going, I need help, it's like, these are the kinds of things she helps me with. And it was by no means all inclusive.
Yeah.
It's just, but that was one of the things which, and I can't remember what the whole tip was, but it was like, yeah, if you know that somebody's going to be out for surgery. Oh, it was about the schedule. It was about how you help with the schedule. And I think I normally would have been like, what's to help with the schedule? We're open these days. We've got this many people. Like, what is there to strategize about this? But there is. Because if you know somebody's out on maternity, that changes the schedule. If you know that you can get summer help, that changes the schedule. Yeah. If you know that Billy's going to be out for her knee surgery, then how are we adjusting for the schedule? Times that we know we're going to be busy are times we know we're going to be slower. So if you just have one static schedule all the time,
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're not maximizing the times that could be maximized, and you are probably wasting money and having chaos that you don't need, frankly. So if it has never occurred to you to change your schedule, but then how to do it strategically and being smart about it.
Yes.
And that's where you come in handy, because you do look ahead and go, okay guys, what are y'all doing at these times? And now you've got my team kind of trained to do it. There's a couple of people that are strategic thinking about it, but still oftentimes we're in the weeds. We kind of miss things, and you're like, that sounds good in theory, but what about this? And we're like, oh god, right?
Yes.
So that's one thing that as a consultant you're looking at a healthy schedule. Yes. And it does vary. It is not static.
It can't stay the same. It cannot. And I would agree with you. I would say if it's staying the same, there's usually indicating that something's wrong, or we're not maximizing, or we're chaotic because we're running the same schedule regardless of who's there. So,
or what opportunities there are and stuff like that. So you're not maximizing what you could and should be.
Yeah. Ooh, so that's going to tee it up nicely. You need to hear more, people.
I had some good stuff in there. You haven't read it yet.
I know.
Either.
I haven't. I need to. It sounds awesome. I always read them just for clarity. I haven't read hers yet, but I
just sent it to you. I just sent it to you Friday night.
Yes, I was about to say, don't make it sound like I haven't done my homework. I promise.
No, you don't even know the title.
I don't.
Should I tell you the title?
What's the title?
The title is 51 Plus Ways My Consultant Helps Me.
Ooh. 51?
Mm-hmm. Plus.
Dang. Do you have 51 in there?
I want you to read the article.
Oh, shoot.
Quiet, you. I could probably do a whole second set and finish out the 100.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Man, now I'm kicking myself for not having read it yet.
It's long.
Why didn't I stay up late on last night reading this?
Yeah.
Come on.
What, would you need to sleep?
I'm like slacking here. What a slacker. Okay, so that was my second tip. Also, because I am the queen of boring business topics that nobody wants to think about. So I'm just going to keep going on my trend here and go with year-end expenses. Which I know everybody's going to stop listening right now. Why did I even have to put it in the list? But it is so critical to come to the end of the year and to be able to pause, look back. Hopefully, listeners, you guys have some really great CPAs on board that can help you with this, but you need to thoroughly look through that profit and loss report and figure out, where are you overspending? Where are you underspending? You're like, is that possible to underspend? Absolutely. There's areas that you can underspend on. So you need to take the time to actually go through, look at that report and analyze it to figure out what you need to do differently for 2026. I will say this is very challenging to do on your own. It's not that you can't do it. It just sometimes needs perspective that either comes from your CPA, which can certainly ask questions or answer questions for you. It could come from other dental colleagues, and comparing like, hey, my payroll's at 27%. My CPA is saying that that's kind of within normal limits. Do you know what your payroll percentage is? So it takes some dialogue to figure out what you need to do differently, but look at that and trim the budget if need be, or expand the budget based on your goals for the next year. So yeah, year-end budget.
I'm gonna say I hope everybody has a CPA and or a Bethany or somebody, because I will say a lot of people that I hear get their spouse to help. My spouse has his MBA in finance, so he's more than capable. I hate for him to look at it. I don't want you to look at it, because you're giving me all this advice on things you don't know how it's applicable. So that, to me, that's why I have a problem with like any DSO coming in, and it's like, yeah, your job is to save money, but are you really saving money? If you tell me I need to decrease my supplies budget, okay, so what does that mean? Like at the end of the day, if I don't have enough etch in my office, because like that didn't work. Right. So I like somebody who knows a dental office, knows a pediatric dental office, and can guide me accordingly.
100%.
My husband used to try to weigh in a long time ago, and I was like, I can't. We're not going to be married very long if we continue on this, right? Like you stay in your lane, like your finance for everything but dental. Yeah. Leave me alone. Yes. I'm going to go seek my own people to help with this. But, honestly, I don't want to. I hate all those numbers. It gives me nausea, and I don't want to. So that's where you, CPA, somebody else. But point is, somebody should be looking at it. I guess if you don't have anybody else, and husband who's going to tell you what to do, even though he doesn't know what's in it, or wife, whichever way, I guess it's better than nothing. But pay attention to your profit loss, I guess is what you're saying. Especially here at the year end.
Do yourself a favor and take the time to, if you don't understand it, take the time to learn to understand it. But this is where outside resources are really helpful. So that one's a challenging one. I know that's not an easy year end tip, but I would definitely recommend it. The last one that I'm going to say is everyday life. But I want every office to take a look at their accounts receivables and do some analyzing at the end of the year. We are going to dive heavily into this in January bonus episode, because this is a whole category, honestly, that we could spend multiple episodes on. But the year end is a very important time to evaluate, okay, not only what are our current accounts receivables, both patient receivables and insurance receivables, but what has our trend been is why I like it at the end of the year. When we look back, when did we ebb and flow? When did we have higher accounts receivables? Why? What happened? Was that just because our production was so high during those months that our accounts naturally went higher? But why did they go higher? Why did we not estimate accurately for those? Why did all of these patients end up with balances that we weren't expecting? How can we go back and revise that next year? Because if June, July, and August are busy for us again next year, we don't want to end up holding the bag at the end of that summer. How do our current insurance receivables look? Why has that been on a continually negative trend for the whole year? Why has that continued to increase? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do differently? Are we turning accounts over to collections? Why or why not? Should we do that? It just is a really good time to focus on that part of the business.
Everything you just said is so yucky to me. And honestly, like when I suggested accounts receivable, I was like, add that to your list. Let's talk about accounts receivable. Because I'm thinking of a colleague who he's run his practice for a while now, 5-6 years and whatever. And he said something to me not too long ago about how accounts receivable had gotten real high, and I guess he had thought his manager was taking care of it, but then said manager was botching things up, and I don't remember all the details about it, but at the end of the day I was like, dude, so you basically have all this outstanding money that you may or may not get, so you've basically been doing free dentistry for a while. How did that get off your radar? Because we talk often enough, and anyway, so I was saying to you, my question to you was, is there something different we need to do about accounts receivable at the end of the year than we would do every month if you're tracking it and checking it every month? And you were like, actually, yes, you should be. everything you just said like a minute ago, I'm like mind blown.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're looking at all of that
Yeah.
for me, but I wouldn't even have thought about that. You're right. Like, we should look at it from a trends perspective. And yeah, are there insurance companies that we knew we were taking write-offs from, but we didn't realize how much? Like, that has changed from years prior.
Yeah.
So all of that, and at the end of the day, we don't want to be just doing free dentistry. We have a business to run.
Absolutely.
And between this year's tariffs and blah, 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 whatever else has gone on this year, if we want to stay in business, this is possibly the most important thing you could be doing.
Yep.
And are you equipped to do it? I would say, I know I am not.
Yeah.
So if the majority of you are not, you really need, I encourage you, can you do that as a bonus episode in January so that we can, whatever mistakes we've made for this year, but if we can be more on top of it for next year.
100%. I think that's a great focus for our for our January upcoming digest, because it is a yucky category, and it is so complex, but it is so consequential to the practice.
Well, and I will say, even if you've got a great dental CPA, which I do, but this is not one area. They can look at kind of going, oh, what's going on in receivables. This is not a number they are paying attention to.
No.
They are looking at other numbers.
They're looking at cash flow. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have so many amazing clients that work with awesome CPAs. And I am on a regular email basis with one of the CPAs because his concern was cash flow. He was like, man, we're having some cash flow issues with this practice. I started working with them, realized, yes, it's a cash flow issue, but it's a cash flow issue because of accounts receivables issues. And so we reinvented so many things with the practice that they were doing wrong systematically that was leading to this just ballooning accounts receivable issue. He doesn't know that. He's not looking at the practice management reports to know that they've got an accounts receivable issue. He's looking at the bank account.
Yeah, he's not looking at, is it a scheduling issue? He's not looking at it as a write-off issue. He doesn't know.
No.
And they're not going to know. They're not going to. And then you're stuck kind of going, what I'm doing here. So actually, this is good because it's teeing up my article on the theme for January. It's like, what does your consultant do for you? And you coming in there. But if you don't have said consultant, what can you do to help yourself? Mm-hmm. But I think this is one of those things that the majority of us are not equipped to do it. Even if you were a business major in college or whatever, do you have the time to really sit and look at this and strategize?
Yeah.
So that you are not working for free, working like a dog when everybody else around you is asking for raises and asking you to take less of from insurance and whatever. Like, at the end of the day, you need to stay in business, and how smart are you going to be with that? And it starts and ends with accounts receivable.
Absolutely. And your patient satisfaction is going to be 100% tied to accounts receivables. If they're going to get mad about anything, it's because you somehow misinformed them about what they were going to owe, and now they've got a remaining bill, and now they're ticked at you and don't want to come back. So this whole category is one that at the end of the year, we do need to take the time to reflect back and really look at what were the trends that occurred throughout the year. And now let's project forward and figure out how we're going to fix that for next year.
So it's funny because that also teaser that comes up in my article as well, because I'm talking about, like, do you have the verbiage you need to handle some of these things? And I think that's one thing a lot of people don't think about. And so that's the quickest way to piss off a patient.
Yep.
Is when they owe money. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we avoiding that, both from a Google review standpoint, a patient retention standpoint, who else are going to tell that you're terrible and don't come here anymore, but also, what are you getting paid?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what are you getting? How much are you having to write off to not make these patients upset at you? So all of the above, it's all things that we need to look at. I can't wait for your bonus episode. I know it's going to be boring as hell, but it's going to be an eye-opener. And I'm sure you will have some playbook tips in there. I'm sorry. It will. I know it. I know I'm going to have to sit there and be like, okay, I'm just treating myself to Starbucks and get a venti, and I'm ready.
Venti. Oh my
Double
gosh.
the espresso in there. I need caffeine for this episode.
Like, you have any Xanax you can pop in there while we're at it?
Well, no, then I'll fall asleep. I need some pick-me-ups. I need to be awake to listen to this episode.
Awake but calm.
Yeah. Right.
I love that. Yeah. So if you're just, man, if you're just itching for a moment like that, I can guarantee a good bonus episode that'll make you want a venti and a Xanax at the same time. So
a Xanax and a Xanax. Like all of these. Hey, it'll be like a bonus. If you have somebody in your life that is not getting good sleep, then you'll have that too. You can play that as white noise for them to get to sleep too. So sorry,
gosh.
I'm being mean to you. I apologize. It's important. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm glad it's yours.
Yes, I'm glad it's mine too. And it should be every listener's as well. Kuba can bow out because she's got me, but y'all can't. So tune in for January bonus episode.
Well, that's it. Our top 4, our top 8. So like this is the episode. It was top 8 for the end of the year. We've got just a smidge of time left, and we got some stuff to do. It looks like.
Yes. Don't delay. Jump on all of these today. Don't wait.
Go get you your Starbucks now.
Thanks for joining the conversation today. We hope that you are comforted in knowing that you are not alone, but we also hope that you're walking away with some really great tips and tricks to try in your practice. We value your feedback, so please take a few moments to rate and review the podcast. Finally, we want to make sure that we're covering the topics that matter to you. So track us down on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what topics you want us to cover. As always, please know that we are rooting for you today as you manage your dental drama.